And I really want to go ahead and just go through affirmation that if you're listening to the room and you like the affirmation, then you're absolutely free to make it your own. But it says, my business is very successful and it's growing more successful by the day. It is making more money, serving more customers, and gaining a better reputation each day. The future is bright for my business. I'm working diligently and intellectually to take my business to the next level. It is impossible to predict the future, but I have high expectations for my business. I am focused on serving my clients and clients to the best of my ability. I am a professional powerhouse in my industry. My competitors are running scared while their customers are running towards me. My customer base is growing by leaps and bounds. My business is growing bigger and better each day. I make my business a priority in my life. I spend time each week determining the most intelligent next step for my business. I know that I must be focused to have the right to expect success. I regularly design new products and services for my customers. I keep my business moving forward. I avoid relying on my past success. I am doing better and better. Today, I am redoubling my efforts in my business dealings. I am looking for bigger and better customers and cutting unnecessary expenses. My business is growing bigger and better each day. So again, everyone, welcome. My name is Janice. I am your online course creation strategist, where I help you get that course out of your head and onto the web by helping you tap into your zone of brilliance. Listen, if you are looking for ways to add additional streams of income to your business, then you should be talking to me, because I have developed courses not only for my own business, but also for various government agencies. So I know I have the skill sets that you need to help you develop your business as well. So tonight, the room is not centered around you actually creating a course. Tonight, the room is really centered around those creators who already have a course, and that course is literally collecting dust, right, on a shelf. And you know what? I'm not judging, because I've created, different products that I'm like, okay, you know what? It's just not the right time to launch, right? Or, we've had these amazing projects that we work, and we're like, oh, well, you know what? Is this a good time? And the next thing you know, life began to happen and you end up not actually launching or, making it available to the public. So if you are a creator and you have created a course and you are waiting for the perfect time to launch the course, I want to go ahead and let you know you may never actually see that perfect time. So you have to be intentional on developing a plan and getting a course to the people who needs it, right? Because think about it. If you have a particular skill set or knowledge that you have been asked to, maybe participate in from like family members, or, maybe you're part of an organization and they're always asking you to do particular things, and you hold this set of knowledge or skills and you've created this beautiful course, and then you kind of stopped at the point of actually launching a course, or maybe you did launch it and maybe it just wasn't well received, right? And so then we begin to start questioning whether or not what we actually had to say was the right thing. And so what I want to do tonight is I really want to talk about, how I can help you with getting past the portion of the course creation launch fear, right? And this is, of course, the part where, either we launched or we thought we launched really well and we just kind of didn't get any kind of traction. Or, we're sitting and we're waiting for that perfect opportunity to launch, right? Now, I know you've heard this in the academic arena, where people will take course audits. And generally what that means is that, they're going to go and sit in a course and they're going to basically, take the course. They will not receive any kind of credit for it. They're there to really gain information and knowledge. Maybe they're even there to probably take the course in advance of them actually having to take it for, for their grade. But it's a person who is there who is going to take the course in its entirety, and then they're going to provide feedback, right, about how well the course was designed, any kind of issues or any kind of concerns they may have noticed about the course. Did it flow properly? Was the information pertaining to the objectives? And so these individuals will sit in the actual course. They will, course, listen to the entire thing, and then they will provide that necessary feedback, that we all need and want, because we want to make certain that the course is the best that it can be. So that is where I come in, okay? I am going to be your course auditor, but my course audit is going to look a little bit different. And why I'm saying it's going to look a little bit different is because we're going to have a structured approach where you're going to receive particular elements inside of the course audit program that is going to be very much so unique. Hey, Tanika, thank you for dropping by. I'm just simply in here talking about getting a course audit in the course audit program. And you actually came in at a perfect time because I'm getting ready to go through what exactly is a course audit. So in this particular course audit, right, and I just mentioned to you how in the academic arena, there is course audits that are done. People come into the classroom. They're in the classroom. They're receiving all of the information. They probably are not going to receive a grade, right, because they're not paying for the actual course. But at the end of the course, just like I mentioned, they're going to provide you with valuable feedback, of course, to the developer to help them make the course better. And the course audit program that I have essentially does the same thing, right? When you're talking or dealing with any kind of course auditor, and of course you can still have your course audited by the individual who helped you with your particular course, if that is an option. You just want to make certain that whatever that agreement is beyond actual development of the course, that you kind of understand what additional support is going to be added to that. But inside of this particular program, which if you look up top, you'll see a link. That link is basically our info page, okay? What's going to happen if you click it? It'll tell you a little bit about the course audit program. You put your email address in, and it'll send you over the white paper that tells you basically the same stuff that I'm going to tell you tonight, except you have it in a written format. So one of the things is that, not all of the course audits are going to be created equal, meaning everyone is going to have a little bit of a different objective, right? Some people, when you go into a course audit, will be looking for feedback on a course they just developed. They're going to be looking for you to, or me to provide them with ideals about making certain that their objectives are clearly stated, making certain that their objectives are tied to the material that's actually being presented. Some people, or some of you may actually have a need to package the information, right? And that's okay too, because whenever we begin to look at the courses that we've developed, we may find that there are several parts of the course that could be separated into smaller, more digestible angles, or there could be stuff that could be combined to make it into more of a package. So that's the first thing I want you to know, is that I do not expect everyone to come into the course audit program expecting the same kind of results or expecting or having the same kind of needs. But in saying that, what I will say is that I have a standard in terms of the elements that's included inside of the course audit program itself. Now, when you're looking for a course audit, right, we're talking about how can this increase your bottom line. The way it's going to increase your bottom line, I'm going to just kind of wrap this up before we get into some of the things you should be looking for inside of your course audit. But some of the things that you can do, or some of the things that a course audit will do, is it will give you, feedback on your objectives, right? It will give you feedback on how easily your course is being assessed, right? Like, can I get to it quickly? Or do I have to go through several different logins, or go through all this complicated, transition from one area to the next? It should have a very easy delivery method, right? And what I mean by delivery method is, in what format is your course in? Are we talking about audio? Are we talking about video? Are we talking about some type of written document, right? Or is it a combination? It could be a gamified type learning, delivery method as well. So how is your course developed in terms of being delivered? And some courses are delivered better in certain formats, right? If I were giving a course dealing with cooking, I would expect to kind of see a video with that course, maybe even some written material, that had maybe the shopping list, ingredients, those types of things, with the instructions on how to prepare the ingredients, and how to actually cook it, So directions, I would expect some of those. And then I would expect the video to show me step by step exactly what it is that we're doing. And then, of course, the end product itself. So all of these things are things that goes into the area of the proper delivery method. And then, of course, you may just be thinking, all right, well, I have a course, but, I got to the point where, I think the course is pretty amazing, but I'm really having this real difficult time thinking about an actual launch strategy, right? And what I'm hearing a lot of times is that, we're not sure exactly how to launch a product. How do we launch a actual course? And you're probably going to talk to several individuals who deal with marketing and all of these other things, but you have to have an audience, right? Like, there have to be an audience that's going to actually be expecting your product. So creating a pre-launch and or a relaunch strategy. And then lastly, you're going to want to have someone have some kind of review, right? And most of the time we try to tap our family members to do this. And, at some point they will begin to say, you know what, I am just like, I'm kind of tapped out right now with, having to constantly, support your business, which, we can understand to a certain point, but we want to make certain that we can get those neutral parties to actually give us feedback on our program. So those are some of the things, right? Now, when you download my actual white paper or the information sheet for the Course Audit Program, some of the things that you're going to see is, the welcome to the audit program, right? And I know that you're not signing up for the audit program at this particular moment, but I wanted to just kind of let you know that this program is a program that is really designed for those individuals who need some additional guidance beyond how to create my course, okay? Who needs or have developed a course and they just need someone to help push them through to the point where it's now available inside of their communities. And this is a very important part of the course development and course strategy process. Now, I'm saying this because most of the time, if you are working with a coach, your coach should have some additional support, right? Like to help you launch in your actual course itself. If you created your course without a coach, which is very possible, right? A lot of us buy, particular programs. We don't necessarily buy the coaching portion of it, or the coaching portion didn't come with the program. And the program was probably amazing. It was well written. It was something that allowed you to be able to create your course itself. And you did that. And then, of course, once you actually created your course, now you're stuck with a product that you don't really know what else to do with. And that's okay, right? This is where I will come in to assist you with determining exactly what do we need to do next, right? So even if you haven't really launched your course, or even if you've already launched your course, it doesn't matter. We can do a repackaging, we can do a reevaluation, and we can really put together some strategies so that you have confidence in the way in which you actually launch the course officially. Now, when we talk about pre-launch, what we're really talking about is generating market interest, right? We're talking about that portion, before we say, hey, this is available, we got it out here, go get it. We're talking about that part or that time where you are generating the interest of the people in your community or people that you believe the course will impact or influence. And you do this through, some very organic ways. Some of the ways that you may find being recommended, and one that I definitely do, is making certain that you're tapping into all of your social media, platforms. And right now, there are many, right? So we're all here on Clubhouse right now, but there are other social media platforms that I'm sure you have community members located in, right? Hi, Sybil. Welcome to the room. We're talking about, our course audit program, what you should be looking for in the program. If you haven't already joined the club, go ahead and join the club. This way you can definitely jump back in and catch the replay, which, we talked about some other stuff a little bit earlier. But, the pre-launching, right? So this is where you would begin to get that information or guidance, or making certain that you are building or generating the interest around your program inside of your communities. And like I mentioned, some of the most organic ways to do that is by offering your particular audience information about the program, right? I like to say, you can never really overshare, right? You can tell someone, what they need to do, but inside your course, you're really showing them how to do it, right? If I tell you that, hey, in order to bake a cake, you need to get all of these ingredients. Well, you go get all the ingredients, but then, what's next, right? And your course really is that what next portion. So you cannot overshare in terms of telling them what they need. However, how to apply that information is going to be inside the course. So again, generating interest inside of your community so that you can begin that pre-launch position. You can also begin, pre-launching in terms of pre-selling your course. And pre-selling your course is one of the ways that, so it could be a good thing or a bad thing, right? And it really is going to depend on the person. It could be a good thing because it motivates you to make certain that you're going to have your course available when you say it, you're going to have it available, right? But it's a bad thing if you do not. So we want to make certain that before we get into a phase or any kind of position of promising a course at any particular time, that we are pretty much done, right? That the only thing we're really working on or actually trying to complete are just any kind of revisions and audits. We're not trying to create any additional lessons or any additional modules. We're really just there trying to create, revisions. But we can do the pre-sale. And the pre-sales are an excellent way to gauge how much interest is going to be in your community around this particular program. Now, you can also generate, right, or manufacture interest. And you can do that by talking about the benefits, right? Like, what is this particular course going to do? Like, what are going to be the results from this person taking your course? And let me tell you, if I was, for instance, from a place talking about selling or helping someone monetize their social media account, Well, in this particular case, revenue is going to be a driver, right? So talk to me about how, if I take this course, you're going to be able to implement these strategies where, you can go from, making nothing with your social media to making six figure income. So tell me what it is that this particular program is going to do. And so these are some great ways, like I mentioned, to kind of manufacture interest if you are not seeing traction during the pre-launch phase, right? And then, of course, you always want to make sure that you're building your email list. And your email list is like your gold mine. Now, because it is your gold mine, you want to treat your email list very gently, right? Because I don't know about you, but I've been on emails where, like, I'm getting an email every other day, and it's so much that I can't even really keep up. Like it's one email after the other. So we really want to make sure that we strike a really good balance, right, with our emails, how we're sending them out. But the key is we want to make sure that we're capturing that information somehow. And so you go, well, how can I capture this, email address from this, from our audience? Well, at this particular moment or this particular time, hopefully you've already kind of engaged with them. So there is that, know, like, and trust factor. And so now it's simply you offering them something simple as a lead magnet, right? To, help them along very, gently in the direction. And a lead magnet doesn't have to be a $200, item. It doesn't have to be extravagant, right? It could be something as simple as helping someone give someone a daily plan or a daily checklist, right? Now, of course, you want to be in the area in which that is relevant. If you're talking about baking cakes, then, necessarily offering a planner for a daily planner, it may not be ideal with the kind of message that you're sending. So you want to make certain that it's something that's going to be relevant to your actual community. So that is going to take place, right? So in the pre-launch, we've done that. Now, before we get to the pre-launch, there are going to be some other things that we're going to talk about, particularly in the Course Audit Program, okay? And I'm going to go back over some of the things that is actually included in the program, because one of the things that is super important is making certain that you have a good platform, right? And a lot of the learning management systems, and the learning management system are things like, Thinkific, Kajabi, right? Teachable, like all of those platforms can become really expensive if you do not have, a actual, like if this is your first course, right? They do offer some with, free trials and free like course for like maybe I think one course in some of them, but you want to be really careful, right? Because generally the percentage that you're going to be paying is going to be much higher. So we want to talk about in our course audit, exactly where do you want to set your course up? Where do you want your course to be delivered from? What kind of system? What are you looking for? And of course, we're not going to be talking about just that one course. We're really talking about the longevity, right? If you're going to build this course, do you plan on building more courses around it? If so, then is this going to be the ideal place for you to actually house your particular course? So we're going to look at that. We're going to make certain that whatever platform you choose, that it fits your needs today and in the future. Now, does that mean that you're never going to have an opportunity or a chance to potentially, change it? The answer is no, right? But you do want to make certain that you at least are looking in the future, at least 12 months from now. What does that look like? And so that's going to be one of the other things that you'll find here inside of the Course Audit Program. Now, if you already currently have a business and you probably already have some kind of payment processing, platform that you're using, whether it's PayPal's or Stripe's, or some of the others that are definitely out there. But you're going to want to make sure that you have something like that in place. And if you're looking to integrate your particular, hey V, thank you for joining the room. If you're looking to integrate your particular course inside of your website, then you're definitely going to want to make certain that you are, hey, Irene, thank you for coming in. Then you're definitely going to want to make certain that you have some kind of, some kind of processing platform that you're using. Hold on a second. I'm going to get you up here on the stage as well. So give me just a second. So, hey guys, welcome to the room. I am simply talking about my course audit program and going through some of the things that people should just be looking for as a whole when they're talking about, launching their course, or when they're talking about just having any kind of course that's been sitting on a shelf that hasn't really been, haven't had any kind of traction, and they're just kind of wondering, what can we do with this? What can I do with this course now that I've completed it? But it's really not selling, or I'm really just not even, doing anything with it in terms of launching it or anything else. So what I've been doing just for the last, 20, 30 minutes, is just kind of going through some of the things that if you're looking to get a course audit, what are those things that you should be looking for, and talking to your particular coach in order to make certain that you're getting the most for your money. And also to make certain that, at the end of the course audit, it's essentially increasing your bottom line. If you guys have anything you would like to add, then you definitely can jump in at any time. Just let me know. I'm going to go ahead and go back over to the payment plan, right? So one of the other things that you're going to want to definitely kind of keep in mind is, how do you want this course to be structured, right? Like, how are we setting up the actual course itself? Is it something that is going to be a one-time payment and it's done? Or is it something that is going to be, maybe charged, in increments? Is there any certifications that's going to be associated with this course, right? If so, how is that going to be delivered? So when you're looking at this, your course audit really should ask all the questions that a customer is going to be asking. And not only should it be asking that question, it should also be answering the question or helping you answer the question. Some of the other things too is, we have a lot of courses, of course, that are out here in the market, and a lot of them are being delivered in a very automated way. But what kind of interaction are you going to have with the course, right? When I talk about interaction, we are naturally assume that there's going to be some kind of, initial greeting where they at least are introduced to who you are and, what you're offering. But what else is happening after that, right? What are you, do you plan on having maybe a hybrid type course delivery method, or is it one of the DIYs? And so in your course audit, that should be a question. It should be a discussion that you're having, right? That should be something that is going to be important, because depending on how the course is being delivered, it's going to also determine exactly how you want to pre-launch it, right? What kind of features are you going to highlight? Are you going to be talking about the fact that, hey, look, even though you're doing it on your own, you're not by yourself, right? I'm still here. I'm still around. We're still going to meet. Is there a community associated with it, attached to it? And so all of these things are going to be super important, especially when we're talking about pre-selling or pre-launching any kind of course, and of course, when we're talking about conducting a course audit. Cloud9, thank you so much for being in the room. If you have any kind of a question or anything, just definitely, let me know. We can bring you up here on the stage, or just drop it over in the chat. V, if you have anything you would like to add, thank you so much for coming in and supporting. Let me tell you, I was really just going to do this room. I was going to put it on my Anchor and just some other places. But if you have anything, then definitely, chime in.
Okay, I'm just here to support and listen.
Okay, awesome. So again, right, your course audit. And, like I mentioned earlier, and just continuously throughout this particular room, is that, most of the time when you're dealing with the coach is going to help you through writing and developing your actual course itself. Whenever you're working with your actual your coach, you want to make certain that you're asking the question, okay, so once my course is developed, is there any more support? Is there anything else that, you have, or any kind of program that you have that will help me, make certain that all of these things are good to go? Now, if your coach is working with you, one-on-one, and it's not one of the, buy the course and, figure it out on your own, then you're probably going to be getting this feedback continuously throughout the development portions. However, again, if you are one of the ones who have created a course, right, which I know is probably amazing because you did it, but you're looking for someone to give you some feedback because you did not work specifically with a coach, then this is the program for you. Click on the link up top. What it's going to do is basically provide you with the Course Audit Program overview. As soon as you drop your email in, it'll send it right over to where you can download the document. It's going to tell you all about the program. From there, we can have conversations about whether or not this particular program is going to work for you. Some of the other things, right, that the Course Audit will do, it can help you repackage your current material, right? And what I mean by repackage is that we're looking at the format that the particular your current course is in, right? We're looking at the delivery method, right? We're looking at what kind of actual structure do you have in regards to the program itself. Like, what is the modules? How is the lesson structured? Everything about the course is going to be under examination, and of course, evaluation in terms of whether or not you want to keep it or replace it, right? Update it, repackaging it so that it's the same basic material, but it's going to be designed maybe to fit a different purpose, or maybe structured in a way that it's going to be a little bit easier for your client or for your customers to consume it. One of the things that we kind of do, especially when we are very knowledgeable about a particular subject, is that we begin to overshare, right? And oversharing happens in course development too, meaning that we're putting too many things inside of our course at one time to where people begin to feel overwhelmed. They do not feel like they're going to ever be able to implement anything because it's too much stuff, right? So let's talk about an example. So I taught a course. It was a Microsoft course. The Microsoft course dealt with all of the different Microsoft programs, right? So we talked about Excel. We did Word. We did, what's the other one? Word, PowerPoint, and Access. For a course that was 16 weeks, that was okay. But if I'm a person who I'm just trying to figure out how to put some, formulas into the Excel sheet, or how to, get a pivot table done over in Access or Excel, then I don't necessarily need the whole entire Microsoft program, taught to me. So we really want to make certain that, whatever we put it into the course is that it's relevant for the topics, right? Whatever that topic is, it's enough information to get them from point A to point B without overwhelming them, right? So if someone is trying to bake a cake, we're going to give them the instructions for baking that cake, and then we're going to let them come back to us if there is something else that they need, right? So we don't want to get into the habit of oversharing. We want to make certain that we are spot on with what we need to provide to our particular consumers in an amount that is going to be appropriate. Now, of course, there are going to be different levels of individual whom you're going to encounter. And you really, it's going to be difficult for you to determine who's, a beginner and who's maybe an expert, right? So one of the easiest things to do to kind of weed out those individuals who say, this course is absolutely useless, is to make sure that you have a good description of what the course is really about. And that's where those objectives come into play, right? Because if I'm reading your course and I can see that your course is for beginners who need to learn how to understand, music, then I'm not going to necessarily want to buy this course if I've been, playing music and reading music for 10, 15 years. So having good course objectives, good course description help not only your consumers, right, determine what is the best course or if this is the best course for them. But it also helps you in the long end because you're no longer having to deal with those customers who were not able to find any kind of benefit from the course. Not because the course wasn't good, right? It just wasn't a course for them. So again, course audit will help you kind of achieve that goal. Some of the other things that we're going to talk about in terms of the content, when we're looking at the course inside of the course audit. And again, the course audit program, if you're interested in learning more about it, you can definitely click the link up top. There is no charge for receiving the information. You simply put your email address in, and then you'll be able to automatically download the actual document itself. So when you're talking about choosing your delivery method, right? So I've taken courses where there are absolutely no videos. Everything is in some type of written format, right? Whether it was a PDF document, whether it was a workbook, whether it was inside of Word, it was just nothing, no videos, no anything. Personally, those are not my favorite. Welcome to the room, Miss Ebony. It was not my favorite kind of course, right? But there are benefits to having a course like that because I can then download everything. I can read through it. I can keep it. If you are a visual learner, that's very important, right? Then I've had courses where there was audio associated with it, right? And so that one was very transferable, right? I was able to take it with me. I wasn't really concerned about having to have any kind of video taking place so I could, drive with it, those types of things. And then, we have the standard kind of courses, which are really video courses, right? And in the video, you could be on screen or you could not be on screen. It's really going to be up to you. But that's something that we will look at in the course audit to find out. Maybe we'll do an introduction with you on the screen. And then after that, we could just kind of have, just visuals listed on the screen as you're going through the instruction. So how is the course set up, right? Are there pictures? Are there PowerPoints? Are you using cartoons? Like, what does it look like? And all of this, again, is what we are talking about inside of the course audit. So none of this stuff is going to be, we don't want to overlook how important all of these details are, right? Because if you have developed the course, then you're the only person who's actually seen it at this point. And so having those other eyes take a look at what's developed, not to criticize, but to just kind of help point out, recommend any kind of changes that could potentially help you in the end in terms of selling, it's going to be a benefit, right? And then we do not want to forget, a lot of time people, they want to feel rewarded for having completed something, right? And the way that we reward in most learning environments is either through quizzes, tests, or some type of, certificate at the end. So how are we going to make certain that people are rewarded once they've completed the course? Now, you could say, and it's okay, hey, look, I've given them all of the necessary tools to kind of ensure that they're going to be successful by the time they complete the course. And that's good, right? But why not stand out from the norm? And standing out from the norm means adding some additional, hey, attaboys or congratulations inside of your course, right? After every single time a module is completed. How come you can't pop up on the screen and say, hey, congratulations. I'm so glad that you were able to complete module number 3. You only have X number of modules to go. I know you can do it. I'll see you at the end of module XYZ, right? And so you're building into your course those emotional kind of connections with them to complete it. Because a lot of times there are a lot of courses that get purchased that is not being completed. And so we want to make certain that we're doing this. And this is what your course audit does. It helps you look at those little bitty things that doesn't seem that important, right? Because I mean, you're adults. We're adults. Most of the people who are going to buy your program are going to be adults, right? But no one is ever going to say, don't encourage me, right? No one's going to say that. And so inside the course, we really want to kind of encourage those individuals who are taking the course to keep going. You're doing a great job. And this is something that is so small, but it actually helps in terms of being among the few courses that would do something like that. And in the course audit, we do that. The last thing that we're going to talk about before we kind of wrap this room up, and I just kind of go over what the link up top is for, it's going to be, the video review, right? So as the course auditor, now I'm going to be going through your course. I'm going to be making sure that I'm providing you with the feedback in those areas that we've discussed tonight. And you're going to do the actual work with updating, okay? So the updates and all of that is going to be on the course developer. And it should be, because the course developer knows more about that course than I will, or anyone else who's auditing your course. What we're doing is we're brainstorming together. We're working together to make certain that the course that you're developing is the absolute best it can be, right? Making certain that once you have launched this course, right, that when someone opens it up, that they're going to be glad they spent their money with you and not someone else. And so that is where the commitment comes in. Look, this is a 4-week program, right? It's not going to be something that's going to be, a one-time deal and we're done. Basically, we're going to have 4 weeks to get this program from where it is the day we began to a product that's ready to go into a pre-launch and then, of course, a launch strategy. Now, that would mean a lot of commitment, right? Because we're all busy. We have, things going on in our business or in our work life, in our personal life. But we have to be able to also prioritize those exact same things, right? And so this program, even though it's a 4-week program, it does require that you set aside particular time so that you're focused and working on creating a course that people will be glad they purchased. Not because, no one else was in the marketplace, but because once they got into the program, they realized that this was the best thing in terms of helping them move from where they are to where the course promised they're going to be at the end. And that's what it is. It's an expectation, right? The expectation was met. So, again, thank you guys so much for coming into the room. If you have not done so already, please go up to the top of the screen. There is a title for a house. It says the Content Creation Lab -2. Do me a favor. Go ahead and join that club, okay? Because what we're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks is we're going to be we're going to be, conducting houses in this club so that we can talk about content that people want to consume, okay? And everything is content, right? Everything that you do, right? You take a video of you walking through the mall, guess what? That's content. So we want to talk about not just course creation, not just, the course audit program, but we want to talk about the easiest way to get something on social media and get some traction. And so this is what this house is all about. It's all about content creation. There's nothing that we do that isn't content, right? I have a pug, and my pug name is Roscoe. But Roscoe do the cutest stuff. I don't take no videos of it most times, but I probably should. And I'm sure you probably will, right now thinking about something that goes on in your house or, conversation or something with your friends. And you're like, you know what? That would probably be really good content. And so that's what this house is going to be about. Having good content, making certain that we understand that content doesn't have to be hard. It could be real easy. As a matter of fact, when you go through your phone right now, you could probably find 5, 6, 7, 8 things that could easily go into any of your social media, and you can still carry your message, whatever that message is, okay? So again, my name is Janice. I am your online course creation strategist. I help you get that course out of your head and onto the web, not by having you create or, try to figure out another skill, but by tapping into your own zone of brilliance, right? That thing that you do, that you and only you do the best, okay? And then what we do is we show you how to take that knowledge and turn it into additional streams of income. Now, this income is going to be different than any other kind of income that you could ever earn, because once you create your course, it's there. All right. Now, it's going to be some work putting it, they have to put some work in to get it up and going. But once it's there, you can market it over and over and over and over again. You know, that rinse and repeat phrase that we like to use? That's what it ends up being, something that can be used over and over again, something that you probably could update, but, do you need to? And then you could continuously offer it to your particular customer and or client. If you have a course, and this is for anyone in the room, or if you're on, watching this in the replay, and you're really kind of stuck wondering, well, what do I do with this course? I mean, I've developed it. It's kind of sitting on the shelf collecting dust. How can I get it to my audience? Then reach out to me to find out more about the Course Audit Program. Definitely go ahead and click the link up top. Get the white paper that talks about the program, the investment amount. And if it's something that you think is going to be beneficial to you, which I know that it will be because we're going to make certain that it is, then definitely contact me. All of my info is there. You guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me for the last few minutes. If you didn't catch the earlier portions of the room, definitely once you become a member of the club, it'll be available to you there. And then you can go back and listen to it in the replay. Thank you so much for joining me, Miss